In your 20s, it feels like your world is falling apart while everyone else has their life together. It makes me wonder if I misunderstood the assignment. And that's why we have this podcast. Welcome to the first episode of Misunderstood the Assignment. The assignment at hand today is moving out or away. And for that, we have some really special guests. We have Vishal, who is my work colleague, and Arshad, who is my ex-work colleague. That's the introduction you guys get.
Colleague?
Yeah.
I thought we were more than colleagues.
Oh, oops. I'm obviously joking, guys. I have better introductions. Vishal rose to fame by making content on his YouTube channel, and he is currently the video producer at BuzzFeed India alongside me. And we have Arshad, who is a marketing consultant focusing on South Indian content. That explains why you had to fly down from Chennai for this podcast. So, are you excited to be here today?
Yes, very excited.
I just want to understand, like, at what time in your life did you move out, and what was the experience like, just generally?
I moved out when I was 21 actually. I moved out for my masters and I ended up moving to a new country also. So there was a language issue as well because I moved to France and there they don't speak that much English.
Yeah.
So that was a problem. But again, it was a very challenging but fun experience because that was the first time I got to experience freedom as well.
So, Vishal, what about you?
I had moved out to a city, not a city, like a town, big town in Assam itself. And things were okay. Like my brother was living in the same place at that point. And so he was there around. And if I needed any support, any help, he could just help me.
Yeah.
But then in 2014, I moved to Bombay. Absolutely moving out for me happened in 2014 when I came to Bombay.
There were small challenges when you move out, right? Like there are, I would call it boo-boos because you just make dumb mistakes. My biggest one that actually keeps me up at night till date is the first time I had to take a local train, okay? Now, Pune mein there are no locals. There's either rickshaw or bus. And so I went to the station. Like my family and my friends in Bombay, they'd given me instructions, okay? That you have to go in this dabba and this, like this train and stuff like that. And because it was my first time and I had the money for it, I could go in a first class. And I go to the window and I'm like, can you give me a business class ticket? And oh my God, like they started laughing. Like they didn't even skip a beat. They were like, kidhar se aayi hai ye? And I didn't realize that I had made a mistake. And then I just turned around and there was a college girl behind me. And she's like, do you mean first class? And I was like, you know what? I'll just walk to Kandivli from Mahim. Such a horror. Did you have any such embarrassing stories of when you moved?
The fact that I did not know Hindi when I moved to Bombay, that was also the time when I just moved back from France. So my brain would immediately switch to French rather than Hindi.
Yeah.
So I'd respond to people, auto drivers and all in French, and then I'll realize, oh shit, what am I saying right now? And then I'll try to manage with the 3-4 Hindi words that I knew back then. They'd just look at me like, what are you even saying?
Yeah.
So that was quite embarrassing.
That's actually funny. Imagine the auto driver saying, sir, Andheri janna hai, and you're like, oui.
Yeah, so it ended up being so weird. They just stare at me very weirdly.
Since we are talking about trains, a slight trigger warning to everybody. There is racism involved in the story that I'm about to tell you. It was my first day at job and I had to reach office at 10. I reached at 11:30. I had never taken the train. I used to love the trains. Like, wow, kitna sasta hai. Wow, 5 rupees mein kahan pahuncha deta hai. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm taking this train at rush hour for the first time in my life.
No.
Somehow get into like a really, really crowded compartment. As you know, very popular. And then some guy is just staring at me and uncle type, okay. He's looking at me and is like, hey, Ching Chong. Hey, Ching Chong. And I was like, what is he talking about? What is it? What? Wait, Ching Chong. Because I have never experienced sort of like a racial slur in Bombay. Because I was so cocooned in my college, anyway, my college was quite liberal and like everything was in place. So nothing of that sort. But like, oh my God, this is my first experience with racial slur. And he goes like, hey, Ching Chong, tu jahan se aaya na, ye jagah waisi nahi hai. And I was like, okay, is this a scene from fashion? And I am Priyanka and this is my Kangana. I'm like, whatever.
That's where your mind went.
After doing all of that, he actually helped me with, where to climb down and where to get up again. So I had to get down at Kudla, obviously. And then he helped me get down at Kudla. And I'm just like in a dilemma to hate him or not to hate him
Yeah.
now because he's done all of these things and then he just helps me. So yeah, that was like a really eye-opening moment of my life. One of my core memories, I have to say.
Yeah. The next question I have for you guys is about the right time to move out of your house.
I wouldn't say there's like a specific timeline saying that you will learn things better or do things better if you move out at this age, but with your early 20s being the formative age, I guess that might be a good time. I wouldn't say ideal time, a good time to move out so that you learn to do things, you learn how the world works and all of that.
I personally think that in small towns, many people see staying in your house where you were born actually as the privilege. We don't live in this place where there is higher education. So we have to send our children out. Actually, it's not seen as a privilege that you need to send them out.
Is it a necessity?
Yeah, it's almost like a necessity that you need to send them out, and it's because of the need of the world today.
Yeah.
And I feel like many parents also expect okay, they will go and study, do their whatever courses they do, but you'll come back and stay with us. So there are a set of parents, my parents included, who had that little bit of an expectation. And I think it was a little bit of culture shock when they did not see a signal from me that I'm like coming back. And it still exists, and we are still fighting that today, okay? Because there is this expectation. I don't know, maybe some parents just think of their children's education as an investment for themselves, which is, I don't know, it's debatable.
Yeah.
It's a next episode and next season, yeah.
So let's move on to my favorite part of this podcast, which is the game segment. So this game segment is called Do You Agree or Disagree with These Moving Out Tips? I'll be giving you guys some tips that people have told us that they have learned the hard way about moving out. And you guys just have to tell me if you agree or disagree. Okay, the first one. One of the hardest things to do when you move out is deciding what to have for dinner every night and then actually cooking it yourself.
Agree.
Yeah, even I agree.
Agree.
Avoid keeping plants and pets or getting furniture when you're living in a rented apartment because you will have to move from house to house and then just shifting that is a big hassle.
I disagree. I mean, having plants is something that you'd want to have in your house to make it look nice. And pets, I mean, come on, how can you not have pets just because you have a rented apartment? So I think that it's good to have both plants and pets.
Yeah.
Plants I can't part with.
Since we're talking about pets, I do think that it's not fair to say that, okay, don't get pets if you're living in a rented apartment. You can get it, but you need to understand the responsibility of it. There shouldn't be an option that, okay, now I have an opportunity to move somewhere else and pets are not allowed, so chalo, let's give this one away. It is family, it is a responsibility, you have to take it with you. So just be very mindful before making these decisions. So yeah, kind of disagree. Last one. Be friends with your neighbors. They are the ones who will collect your Amazon parcels when you're away.
Not just Amazon parcels, but also give you sugar if you randomly need it when you're making tea and you don't have stuff at home. If your gas runs out and you need to go and make some food on an emergency basis or something. So yes, you do always have to befriend your neighbors.
Yeah.
I have never had friends who are neighbors. I am sorry. They just stare at me and make faces.
Since we're on the topic of, moving to a new city and all of the small challenges that we faced, I wanted to ask you guys, what were some challenges that y'all faced when, that y'all learned the hard way?
While searching for a house also, I had to do this jugaad thingy, I'd say, because I had to tell people that my name was Harshad and not Arshad. So the problem was with the society that we were living in and not my flatmate. So he was like, but for the building, let's just say your name is Harshad and not Arshad. And for the first couple of months, my name was Harshad. And then slowly, my building got Muslim watchmen and all, and things got chiller. And then my name was Arshad suddenly.
Okay, well, let's wrap this episode. I have one last question for you guys. Could y'all each give me 3 tips for our listeners, for those who are moving out into a new city or a new country?
First tip would be, I'd say, learn to cook, because it's not just, it's a very big life skill actually, learning to cook. And it's not just boiling egg or making Maggie, but actual cooking. Another is learn to how to manage your expenses.
If you have the freedom or the privilege, then visit that place once before you decide to move there.
Yeah.
Because I did that with Bombay. Try your best. It might not be always possible, but try your best to get it without a broker. You are going to be living in a new city with new people. Try to be less, cumbersome.
Those are some great points, guys. And with that, we come to an end to the first episode of this podcast. Did you guys have fun?
Yes, I had great fun.
Yes, and I really hope this was helpful for all of our listeners. With that, I would say that make sure you tune in every week for a new episode of Misunderstood the Assignment. You can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or any other streaming platform that you get your podcast from. And don't forget to give us a nice rating and review.